when Michael Arden was explaining like what the set's gonna do, and like, oh hey, by the way, you're gonna jump off a bridge when you start singing "Belong to Someone." It's like, oh, cool, 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 cool. It was insane. I remember auditioning for this. I had no idea there was flying, and I, flew out to New York, did the audition, got a call the next day being like, "Hey, you're gonna do a fly test," and I had no idea what that meant. I was like, "A fly test? What does that mean?" They're like, "No, like aerial," and I was like, "There's flying in this show?" And so I went out to Fifth Wall, a studio in Williamsburg, and they threw me up on the wires and see how I moved up there, and I guess I moved well enough to be able to book this, but it was terrifying at first. Like we started on like maybe like 10-foot levels to like try everything, and then we went out into upstate New York into a theater, and they threw us up in the, like 65 feet into the air on the first day just to like get our bearings and like be like, hey, this is how high you're gonna be in the show at certain points. It was terrifying. Now it's like, okay, I'm just hanging here. Like it's really funny how like your body just gets used to it, gets used to the height. But at first, it feels like you're playing God, and like you shouldn't be up there. Your body is fighting every instinct of like, this is a safe space. It's not like we need to get down from here immediately. You're like tensing up everywhere. But now I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go down in 3, 2, 1, and then I like start doing my thing, and it's pretty like habitual at this point. I was doing everything. I like my first job ever was like putting together a crib for this family in Santa Monica for like a newborn child that they just had the day before. But it was like a range of like helping people move and like assembling furniture to literally like custom carpentry jobs. So it was a wide variety of things. I had to clean out a cat litter box one time. That was, I will never forget that day for my entire life. It was gross. But everything under the sun, believe it or not. Like when you're a handyman, like it's just everything. But my mom taught me how to do all that when I was a kid, and she like repainted our whole house. She was the one putting TVs up in our wall. She built me a loft bed when I was little, so she had all these tools, and I'd watch her do it, and I was like, I think I can do this, and so I started doing it and became a handyman in like 2 months. It was a crazy thing, but I got the call for Lost Boys like when I was about to start a carpentry job that was like 2 days, and it paid really good. I told my agent couldn't do the audition because I was like, I have a job. Like I can't give up this money. Like it's really, really good. And she's like, you're crazy. You need to put this on tape. And I get the call, hey, fly out to New York, and auditioned, and I got Lost Boys. It felt a little insane. Like we're feeling really crazy. Oh my gosh, now we have a preview. We're about to do this for an audience for the first time ever. So it was kind of insane, but I felt really calm. The only time I felt like emotional was like right before we started, and I saw Shoshana backstage, and I gave her a hug, and I just started like crying, and like it just felt like there was this like release of like weight that I had been like putting on myself for some reason, and she was there for me, and then we started the show, and we did it, and honestly, it wasn't until opening night to where like that same feeling kind of flooded back, and it was at the end of the show. I'm like putting this together right now, where like I came out for my bow, and I just started crying. It taught me a lot about the industry, but like there's a lot of pressure when you're a kid trying to work as an adult, and so like you say yes to a lot of things that maybe in the moment you don't know how to say no to, and so you go beyond that capacity that you have, and so a lot of that starts to build up. And I think one of the reasons I took a break when I turned 18 was just because I wasn't doing it for me anymore. I was doing it for everyone else who was kind of like feeding off of what I was able to give. And I think in that break that I took, I was able to like find who I was and build from that. Like, who is LJ without acting? Who's LJ without singing?
So who is LJ?
Who is LJ? I'm actually really like, I found out I'm a lot more introverted than I was like as a kid. I'm honestly really chill. Like I don't. It's so funny. Like we've had a lot of people come to see our show, and I feel like as a child, like I was really more impressed by like people who are famous, and now after kind of just doing life, I hopefully I am just like seeing the human behind the performer, because I feel like I found that for myself. So I don't know. That's how I kind of define myself. I met Billy Crystal backstage, which was like so random, but like so cool. And like Mark Hamill was at the show the other night, and like all of these people I watched as a kid, and like you think they're so far away because like they're just these legends, and then you meet them in person and you're like, oh, you're just a human like me. And all of that is like Shoshana. She just like knows everyone. So it's just like so crazy. She's like brings people backstage. And I'm just like, hey, how's it going? I'm LJ. Good to meet you. Okay, first Broadway show I ever saw was The Lion King in New York. I was like 4 maybe, so I don't remember it at all. What I do remember is when I was 7 years old and I went to the movie theaters and I saw Phantom of the Opera. And it changed my life because I saw Gerard Butler and my executive producer, Patrick Wilson, sing. And it was like, wait, I'm 7 years old and I can kind of sing, and they're like acting, and this is really cool, and they're like singing really cool stuff. And I was like, I think this is something I could do. And so my parents like saw that, and I started like singing stuff from the movie, and they like started putting me into like theater camps and stuff when I was little. All the while I was doing like 8 sports at a time because my dad put me in like baseball, basketball, soccer. My mom's like, he needs to do theater too, he can sing. And so it was like a battle of that always. But yeah, I did Alice in Wonderland. It was my first ever production in Darby Elementary, and I played the White Rabbit. And from there, I got the bug.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. It's the perfect show to go see for your first time. There's so much spectacle. There's so much heart behind it. It has all the things that like make Broadway Broadway like into one show. And it's like a rock concert too. So it's like it's not your classic like, you know, Sondheim or like Phantom of the Opera, but like in my opinion, like it's cooler. Like it's this like rock opera that we get to do every single night, and it's a spectacle. Things are moving on stage. There's holes in the floor. We're flying. There's motorcycles. It's all these things that you would like expect to see like on TV, but like it's in a theater. And it was the same thing with me. Like when Michael Arden was explaining like what the set's gonna do, and like, oh hey, by the way, you're gonna jump off a bridge when you start singing "Belong to Someone." It's like, oh, cool. Didn't know that was gonna happen or that was possible, but like excited to see how I can jump off a bridge and be safe at the same time. That's gonna be great. Literally, this being my Broadway debut, I've felt an insane amount of pressure in like the weirdest times. Like the idea that I've been given this gift of like leading a Broadway musical is beyond me. And at some points it feels like the weight of the world like is on my shoulders. But at the same time it also just feels like I'm being carried throughout this entire experience. And like I feel that on stage when I'm with all the guys and like Ali and the Vamps, and I feel like that's one of the reasons I feel so connected to Michael, is because the same way that I feel like this cast has carried me, like throughout the show, it feels like the characters in the show are carrying me and like wanting to carry me, like especially with Ali and I's relationship and how I get to discover him and the boys in the layer and wanting to be a part of it. It just feels, especially with like Belong to Someone, just feels like the song where like they're ready to like lift me up to have this moment. And that's what my real life feels like right now. It just feels like I'm just surrounded by the best people who are just encouraging me to just be me up there, which is not everyone gets to experience that, and I'm really grateful for it. The beautiful thing, and also sometimes the torturous thing, is like I didn't have to do a ton of work to put Michael on. Like there was a lot of life I got to live, and for that, like it was tough, but like I'm grateful I went through a lot of the things I had to go through in order to relate to him. And it's a really beautiful thing when you get to turn like pain that you've felt in like your personal life into a beautiful thing on stage to share with somebody else.